Edelweiss and CNBC TV 18 present Change India. What India needs.
We've come with the problem, we've come with the solution, but we still haven't figured out how we get there. So, Madhav, how do we get there? How do you make?
I think a lot of the things have to start at the core of policy and what the government wants to do. Clearly, examination and certification is a major block. What is being done right now? There are so many days of the year where you go and appear for examination and you are certified. With technology and everything that we know, that is not necessary anymore. You can create assessment centers and say, whenever you are ready to be assessed, go and get assessed. Let's not think 2 years. Let's think 20 years and get the system in place, not even 20. I'm saying even 5 years this can be turned around.
Okay.
You've got to get out of this mindset that you are going to be tested 7 days of the year and once in whenever. You get over that, then you start looking at options.
Let me move on to higher education, Mohan. And this is a field where there is a lot of private investment in India. What do we do? How do you make our universities turn out students who are immediately employable? Let's forget the few elite, the IITs and the IIMs. Let's focus on the majority.
Well, I think, Senthil, 2 or 3 things. One, we must make our universities autonomous. Unless the university is autonomous, they manage the output, they compete for the students, things are never going to improve. Today, if you think you depend on UGC and AICT or the central government for inputs, and you're going to be a checklist for compliance, things are not going to improve, there's going to be no future. So we've got to make them autonomous academically, financially, and administratively.
Okay.
Second thing they have to do is, they have to make sure they interact with industry and the people who take their outputs, so they know exactly what industry wants. And the third thing they have to do in higher education, I'm a strong votary of technology, because technology can give them access to current thinking, to more knowledge, to problem solving, and level the field compared to everybody else.
Madhav, I can come to autonomous, but you would also need regulation. So at the moment, we don't have a single regulator for education. If you subscribe to Mohan's point of view that we need autonomy.
Yeah, so I think what we need is a regulator, not a controller. What we have today is a controller. I think self-regulation is something that is required.
Okay.
There has to be a transparency in functioning. People are making claims. We do not have good accreditation agencies. We don't have good accreditation standards.
Okay.
But the know-how exists. What is happening today is the government decides that this is how it is going to be done. The government has to open up and say, this is
How easy is it to open up? Because we're not talking about one government. We're talking about various states. This is a state subject.
No, same difference. I mean, government, state government, whichever, it's all about control. And say, I own and I will decide and I will do pretty much what I want with these universities and institutions. You got to open up and just say, systematize third-party evaluations and so on and so forth. We have to grow in that culture. It's not something that will happen overnight, but you have to begin somewhere. NAC is a good beginning, but I don't see that that's really working out that well. Where are the standards? How are you going to do it? I think once you do that, then regulation is much easier. But regulation without all these standards is not going to be possible. Because the whole system, including the regulators themselves, are used to control system. जैसा आपको चाहिए वैसा हम result निकाल के देंगे.
Mohan made a point about autonomous and also financially independent. That implies that colleges and schools be allowed to raise fees, whether government or private. Is that something that would have your support?
Autonomy is something we need to have. But along with it, a completely transparent system. You know, we should be allowed to run our schools or colleges in a manner in which anyone can audit, but also see meaning behind the kind of quality we offer. You can't have one size fits all. You know, a cost of the child's education is X amount, Y amount, and we'll look at it the way we offer education. We also need to see that there is some kind of stakeholding where we say that institutions of higher learning also need to look at schools. We need to come together. I have never, in my 40 years of experience, I feel that I have never sat together with the teachers from higher education, colleges, universities and schools coming together to see what are the linkages that needs to be addressed.
So
this whole downward extension of education to say that, you know, what is needed there is now happening in schools, what's happening in schools, happening in nursery schools. The whole lot of this whole chain without being developmental in character is also hurting the system.
Let me get Vidya in on that, because Vidya, interesting. We had Mohan talking about the need for education institutions to talk to their customer, in the sense the industry where their ultimately the students will go get employed. We have Mr. Vaidyanathan talking about the need for schools to talk to colleges, to linkages. What, to your mind, is the most important thing to make sure that students coming out of our schools and colleges, we talk more about colleges now, are employable?
In our experience, I think it's been 2 or 3 things. One is, a large number of students actually are not English ready, and unfortunately all options that happen after school are in English. And so there's a lot more emphasis that's unfortunately required in at least giving them enough English skills so that they can get through the options that are available after school. The second thing is a lot of the government, provided options like the ITIs or, all these IT programs like MSc IT in Maharashtra or the agricultural training institutions. They're all moribund, almost defunct programs, programs possibly envisaged several decades ago, not really functioning, no industry connections. So for a large number of people, the connection to these institutes is, they just don't understand what these organizations are doing, and there are large budgets that are sitting behind this. So there's a lot of work that's going on, fortunately or unfortunately, out of the non-profit sector and out of the corporate sector, in trying to create options of all kinds for people, because not everybody is ready to go out and get a college degree. There have to be different options available depending on skill and education levels.
Last question, if I start with you, Madhav, it's the BJP, when it came to power in the manifesto, said it would like to see the spend on education go up from 4% of GDP to 8% of GDP. Okay, granted that they were able to push it up to 8% of GDP, how should it be spent? How much should be, because should it be spent even on formulating policy? Should it be spent on campuses? Should it be spent on, how should they spend this money?
This has been on the cards with the government, the previous government also, making loans available where you can access education. The other is to create a free access to education, because I may not have the money to join an institution, but I may be able to access the knowledge either from the institution or otherwise. But please don't stop me from getting your certification. Like in MOOCs, you separate your examination from your teaching. And this is what I keep saying, this is the Eklavya example. If I can learn and pass your examination, why can't you certify me? Why should you certify me only if I attend your class? If you have extra money, put it there. Create the examination system, create the assessment centers. And then when you do that, the whole atmosphere will change around it. Right now the atmosphere is create a school, create a high school, create a college, make money.
Mohan, if I can get you in on that.
Senthil, what the government should do is to have a large-scale scholarship program in higher education so that any child who aspires to education is not deprived of it because of means. Empower the child with money to go to any school, college of his or her choice, and automatically the system will come up to meet the needs. And then as far as infrastructure is concerned, give the schools and colleges or maybe universities access to long-term money, 15-20-year money, so they can build the infrastructure. And the third important, for knowledge creation, create a large enough fund to which for research in science, technology and humanities, so colleges and universities can compete for research funding, and those who want it can get it. Empower the child, empower the parent, give them means, access to means, and will change India. Don't set up more IITs, don't set up any more institutes, don't pour money there because it doesn't work anymore.
How is money best spent?
I am very clear that I think government needs to seriously make sure that every child is on board. We cannot deprive children from not getting their primary education. We have to put in money.
We have a right to education.
So right to education is there, but are we sure? Yeah, it's a right to school, exactly. It's not right to education. We have to make sure that the quality provided therein really empowers the child, and we need to make really the local areas a lot more empowered and not looking at systems and things coming down from the top all the time.
Vidya, last word to you. How is the money best used?
I think the government should focus more on a policy framework and infrastructure, because where the government has failed, somehow the market has found a solution in low-cost private schools, so that at least parents have somewhere to send their children, where there is at least relatively better education. So if there's a strong policy framework on what it is that we really need to get done, And if the government focuses on creating an enabling environment with infrastructure, by bringing select players in who are, well-meaning players in, I think if the money goes there, I think we'll have had some progress.
So I think what's becoming clear is, yes, the government needs to stay in there, but perhaps not so much in providing physical infrastructure. It can't abdicate responsibility there, but providing a policy that gives us a policy framework that encourages or gives us an environment to excellence in education. Thank you so much for watching Change India. We'll be back with more next week.
Edelweiss and CNBC TV 18 present Change India, what India needs.